You're listening to the Multifamily Mentor Show.
My name is Terrance Doyle.
And I'm Chris Lopez. You probably know us from the BiggerPockets Real Estate Ride Along Show. Well, now we're talking everything multifamily. We bring in top industry experts from around the country to come join us in our Denver studio for an in-depth, in-person conversation.
We're going to be diving deep into deals, underwriting, raising capital, and everything in between. Join the conversation.
What's up, BiggerPockets? This is part 2 of our cost segregation episode here on the Multifamily Mentor Show. It's a really cool property we're gonna walk. This is a deal that Terrance put together. It's a 276 unit apartment building in Arvada. We have the cost segregation king, Yonah, with us here, who's actually doing the report on there. And I'm an investor in this project, so it'll be a fun day for us to actually go walk the property and document what we're actually doing for investing. So Terrance, give us the overview of this property.
So like you said, it's in Arvada. It's a suburb of Denver. So we're roughly like 12 minutes from the heart of downtown Denver. So a great suburb. We're across from Target, Natural Grocery, Starbucks, a bunch of brand new development, some Class A buildings across the street. So perfect model for us buying in the path of development, but an outdated building. So this building was built in 1975, has had one owner. He virtually never updated units. All he would do is clean and change out carpet. So the layouts are outdated. They don't have laundry in them, no granite countertops, a bunch of things that we're doing in our new business plan. And so that's what we're gonna do. So it just turned out that Yonah was in town right after we bought it, and we wanna do a cost seg. So it's perfect timing. He's gonna walk through, we're gonna talk about interior, what we can depreciate 5 years, and then exterior, what's on a 15-year schedule. So Yonah, welcome to Mesa Verde. Here is the project.
This is awesome. Yeah, it's a great property. Looks like it is a classic value add, right? There's a lot of value to be added to this property. We'll just maybe take a walk around inside this unit, right? This is a demo unit, and we'll see what is here already that we can depreciate faster inside of an apartment unit. And again, many properties are going to have different things inside of them. So this is just a sample on this specific property, but so many things besides for the structural components can depreciate faster on a 5-year schedule, as we talked about in episode 1.
Yeah. Great. So why don't we start here? So we have the entryway, we have carpet, we have windows, we have an AC, we have light fixtures. Talk to us, let's maybe go through the room and let's talk about what we can depreciate, how it can be accelerated, and maybe some dollars so that the audience can get a feel for what it's actually gonna mean on a tax return.
Absolutely. So the main structural components are gonna be depreciating on a 27.5-year basis. So that's gonna be the door, windows, the walls, the structure, right? The floor. But what's on top of the floor, this carpeting, the vinyl flooring, these are 5-year, what we call personal property. So we'll either refer to them as 5-year property or personal property, but all this stuff that I'm gonna point out. On the windows, you have the window treatments, you have these blinds. Those things depreciate on a 5-year schedule. What else we got? We have the heating system that's probably outdated and gonna be pulled out, but air conditioning unit, light fixtures. We go into the kitchen, we can walk around.
Yeah, let's check it out.
See what's in there.
Yonah, so here we are inside the outdated 1975 kitchen. So let's go through and talk about, because I'm really interested to learn myself, what is going to be on a 5-year schedule that we can accelerate the depreciation on?
Yeah, basically anything that's non-structural. So that would include the countertops, cabinets, right? All of this, and that's really what you have here in this kitchen.
Right.
Any type of, again, the vinyl flooring, all of that is going to be depreciated faster. These light fixtures, even the wall light switches, sockets, things like that. Those Doritos are definitely going to have a much shorter useful life, but we can, any gadgets or anything like that, that's going to be included in personal property. So if you're acquiring it, okay, if that's going to belong to the tenant, then doesn't belong to you. But the actual, dishwasher and all of these things are going to belong to you.
So question. So since I just bought it, I didn't buy anything in here, right? I didn't buy the appliances. We didn't install the Formica countertops. None of that is ours. So walk me through how that gets depreciated, since this was most likely put in 10, 15, 20 years ago. What can I actually depreciate and what do I get to capture like in the first year?
Yeah, well, just to clarify, you did buy this stuff, meaning it was included in the acquisition of the property, right?
Okay.
You didn't go out and buy it, it was included.
Right.
And so when we're buying a property on an acquisition, we break down every component within that acquisition that now you can depreciate faster. So these dishwashers are part of that, purchase price that you spent I don't remember.
$64.5 million.
$64.5 million includes not just the building, but everything that's in it.
Got
okay,
it.
so now we need to reverse engineer, identify, okay, there's how many units? 276. There's 276 ovens. There's 276 dishwashers, countertops, cabinets, etc. We're going to measure them. We're going to take an idea to know what they're worth, and we have to reverse engineer and find how that fits back into the purchase price, so that now you can take the value of these cabinets on a 5-year schedule and depreciate that, get a tax deduction, even though
we didn't install them.
You didn't install it. It may have been here for 10 years already.
So how do you get the value? So I'm just curious, how do you get the value of the cabinet or the stove, right? So a stove I can buy for $400 or $500, right? But clearly this one's a little bit older. So how do you, I'm really trying to learn here, how do you get the value that then we're depreciating over 5 years?
So the IRS and cost segregation identifies what's called the cost recovery system, that every component has a different useful life.
Got it.
Okay, so we're gonna find the industry standard value of these things. We may look at the specific products also and find what's the value of this thing. Then we're gonna take what's the tax useful life. It says it has a 5-year life for depreciation purposes, which means the day you bought this property a couple weeks ago, you now start for 5 years, you can now depreciate the value of this, whatever the value we deem it to be. There is going to be a small, what's called a real useful life, meaning we may see this oven probably can only last for 7 years or 9 years or whatever that is. And then part of the calculation to figure out how much you can actually depreciate, that's included in the cost segregation study. So even though you may have a retail value of $400 for this oven, we may actually be able to find that you can depreciate, $300 or perhaps even $600, because there is also what's called a premium rate added into assets when you buy something, right? A 276 unit for $64 million. That means that we need to fit all of these appliances and all of this structure, everything based on the real value back into that purchase price. Okay, so there's a challenge that we face as cost segregation to take the real value and then find out, okay, well, it only adds up, adding up everything all together only adds up to $50 million. Well, how do we get to that $64 million? We add a premium rate, which means we may put a 1.2 rate or 1.3 rate into that. So you can actually depreciate more than the real value of these things are.
Super interesting. Let me know if I understood this correctly for the audience out there, because that was very dense, but there's some really good stuff there. And clearly I see why you're the king. So I think what I heard was, even though this may only be like at a garage sale, $200, we may be able to get a value of $600 and depreciate over 5 years, even if it's not what I could go buy it for in the real market. Is that correct?
That's right.
Wow, so amazing. So because of cost segregation, you can actually get a premium on what something's worth, even if you buy something that's, in this case, 20 years old.
Exactly.
So the fact that this fridge is 20 years old does not mean so I could actually get more on depreciation than what I could go buy it for. Right. Incredible.
Exactly, because again, your depreciation and the depreciation schedule of everything in here started the day you bought it.
The day I bought it, as if it was brand new.
As if it was brand new.
Wow, amazing. Let's go check out the bathroom, the bedrooms. I can't wait to see what else we can depreciate. All right, so here we are in the 1970s bathroom. I typically find myself in the shower during these walkthroughs because it's the only place I have enough room to stretch my hands. So here we are, Yonah. So let's walk through, there's only a couple things to discuss. Yeah, walk in place because it's small. Talk to us about what we can depreciate in this bathroom.
Yeah, so a lot of things in a bathroom are going to be considered structural, right? Because they're necessary for the property. Like the doors, like the windows, a bathtub, toilet, these are considered structural components. Okay, even the tile on the walls, that's going to be considered structural. It's different than wall coverings. Even tile flooring is still going to be considered structural. And that's the great thing. We mentioned the vinyl flooring is considered 5-year property. But if you have tile flooring, it's going to be on a 5-year.
So pause right there. That's a valuable nuance and a nugget that everyone needs to get. So when you see really attractive floor tile, that cannot be depreciated, but laminate or a luxury vinyl plank can be. So whenever you have the opportunity, you should always do plank, because tile can't be depreciated.
It depreciates on the 27.5
on the
years.
27, you can't take advantage of the bonus. That's amazing. Great. Okay, keep going. So this can't be depreciated. How about the plumbing fixtures?
Plumbing fixtures are also going to be main structural.
Okay, that's structural.
Fixtures. However, there are things like this shower rod, right? Or this handle over here. Even the shower curtain, right? It's all included.
That can be how about the vanity?
Very little. The vanity also will be included in the purchase.
And the light fixture
as well as the light fixture and the mirrors here. Correct.
So no toilet, no tub, and no tile on the wall, or on the floor.
Correct. Again, we're going to identify all these things. These are just going to wind up on the 27.5 year
Got it.
schedule.
Super cool. All right, let's move on.
All right, so now we're in the bedroom here. Walls, carpet, what can you depreciate in a bedroom like this?
I mean, it's pretty empty right now. Obviously, they took out the furniture here. There's not much here except for the carpeting, right? That's going to be 5-year property. The window treatments, the blinds over there, that's going to depreciate faster, and the shelving or the rods in the closet. But pretty much nothing else everything else is going to be structural.
And so you mentioned furniture, so I'm assuming the furniture belongs to the tenant, and therefore Terrance or other investors cannot depreciate the tenant's personal property,
That's
right?
correct. That's right.
Okay, so not a whole lot of stuff to cost seg in the bedrooms. It's more kitchens, bathrooms, outside materials as well?
Correct, yeah. But we will hopefully go into the leasing office, and there's going to be furniture and things like that. That is going to be in there.
Leasing and maintenance. How about light switches? Are those considered structural because it's part of the property?
Yeah, most light switches are going to be considered structural.
So that cannot be on an accelerated 5-year schedule.
Correct.
But the fixtures can, but not the switches.
Right.
What about heat registers?
Yeah, the heat registers are going to be faster depreciation as well.
Okay. 5-year property.
5-year property.
Great. All right, so to summarize, inside of a unit, all the multifamily investors out there, Yonah, what are the items starting from the beginning that can be depreciated on a 5-year schedule?
Things like carpeting, closet rods or shelves, the window treatments, the blinds over here. Within this unit, there's not much else.
How about, so we walked in, so the kitchen, so the luxury, the plank flooring,
Right.
so all laminate flooring can be depreciated, right? All the cabinets, countertops,
Correct.
appliances,
Yep.
light fixtures, but not light switches,
Right?
heat registers.
Correct.
And is there anything else that we're missing that's big? Blinds?
Bathroom vanities?
Glass vanities. Yeah, there are a few other things. I may have missed one or two, but maybe.
So we covered most of
Covered
it.
pretty much everything. Everything else is going to be structural, right? So the walls, the floor, the roof, ceilings.
The door is structural,
are structural.
the tile is structural, the plumbing fixture is structural, the toilet is structural, doorknob structural.
Yeah, exactly. And so when we say structural, we're talking about 27.5 year
Versus
depreciation versus 5, exactly.
So everything can be depreciated. It's just, is it 27.5, 15, or 5?
Right.
So when we're talking interior, the question is it 27.5 or is it 5?
Correct.
Great. I think I'm getting the hang of this. Maybe I can get a part-time job in the summer once
I feel like I'll never walk a property and see it the same way. We're gonna be like, oh, what's that? What's for cost seg? It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be a 5 years out of 5 or 15 is what I'm going to start saying.
Exactly.
5 or 15, 5 or
Start
15. Yeah. We start a game. 5 or 15. Or, yeah. All right, let's go. We can talk more about that.
Hi, Terrance.
Hey.
Yeah, hi. You got the structure, and then you have all kinds of the amenities, which are, grills, chairs, exterior furniture, pools, all that stuff is stuff that actually is benefit. The pool itself is benefit. The fencing is benefit. The landscaping is benefit. Right.
Oh, landscaping is on a 15-year schedule?
All the landscaping.
Right.
Wow. And landscaping prices are going up. Mulch, bushes, super high.
Right. And
Does that
if you've
include
got
trees?
If you've got like a sprinkler system, for the lawn, that also adds significant value.
So I want to get that straight. So sprinkler system, bushes, trees,
Absolutely.
the fence, pool,
Fence,
all of that is depreciated on a
pool
15-year schedule?
furniture. So when it comes to furniture, that's going to be on a 5-year schedule.
Right, the furniture is going to be.
Oh, the furniture's on a 5? Okay.
Yeah, all this
But
exterior
the
furniture.
stuff that are built in but outside, that's going to be the 15-year.
Built in, but outside is 15 years?
Fencing, gazebo.
Got it. So anything that cannot be moved, is this correct? Anything that cannot be moved exterior is on a 15-year schedule, and everything that can be moved is on a 5-year.
You got it, right. So if you've got exterior lighting,
Cool.
lamp posts, spotlights.
So like the light fixtures right there?
Yeah, those light fixtures,
light
you see
fixtures?
on the sides of the building.
Got it. Okay, cool. Well, let's keep walking then, and you can give me some, you can give us some more details. So here we have, playground equipment, basketball court, everything you're seeing. So all of that can't be moved is on a 15-year schedule?
So Terrance, just your fingers.
Yes.
So there we go. Yeah, okay.
So all of this gets factored in.
That's right.
Wow.
And like the grass gets factored in too?
Yeah. Yeah.
So grass, sprinkler system, mulch, bushes, trees, all of that is on a 15-year schedule.
Everything. The sign, concrete.
You're talking about even the paving,
waste.
the asphalt paving, the sidewalks,
The sidewalks is on a 15. Benches.
Yeah. Benches, absolutely.
Even this bike rail here.
The bike rail. Wow. All right, cool. Well, that was really helpful, and I appreciate it, and I can't wait for you to do the full study on here.
All right. Pleasure.
Thank you.
All right.
See
Okay.
ya.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Fine.
All right, we're now sitting outside to see what outside fixtures go on the 15-year schedule. So I see lots of stuff. Basketball courts, asphalt, grass, trees, buildings. What is what? I'm like in this whole like matrix game now of how to classify things.
Right. So just to recap, anything that's structural in the building is 27.5-year property. Anything that's personal movable is 5-year property. Then you have this third category called land improvements, and that depreciates on a 15-year schedule. Okay. So looking around here, everything is basically land improvements. It's not the land, it's what's on top of the land. The grass, the mulch, trees, signs, picnic tables, pavement on the basketball court, the walkways, right? You name it. Basically anything, the grills. We'll get to the swimming pool, the fence around there. Outside lighting, you name it. Anything that is outside, it has value. We're gonna find the value and you get to depreciate that value over a 15-year schedule.
So my mind is blown right now. So the sand, the basketball court, all the stuff that's old, the grass, the irrigation system, the mulch, the trees, the bushes, all these things that came with the property that we didn't install, we get to depreciate over 15 years.
That's right. And
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we talked about also, there's something called 100% bonus depreciation. If you remember, go back to episode 1, right? Well, we talked about bonus depreciation, that you can actually front load that entire amount into the first year.
Even on the 15-year schedule.
15-year schedule.
So 5 and 15 can all be front loaded.
Yeah.
So you're saying everything out here, the sand, the grass, all has some type of like industry standard value that you can work off of.
Right, exactly. We're going to look at industry standard and construction values of things and find out, how much does it cost to plant trees? How much is it, what's the value of the grass? What's the value of the concrete? And the concrete on the sidewalks is going to be a little bit different value than the curbing or the pavements in the parking lot or the pavement on the basketball court. So we're gonna look at all those things, apply a value to that. You can take that value as a deduction.
So what about the condition? So I'm looking at dead grass here, live grass here, great concrete, cracked concrete. Is it all the same or does it have different value based on the condition it's in?
It's all the same. The value is going to be in the actual, what's the useful life of this property? What's the value of it? How much would it cost to rebuild it if I had to reconstruct it right now? And then be able to take that value and depreciate it.
So I just want to clarify, one thing that we're talking off camera is prior to 2017, the tax code that was passed, you could depreciate this on a 5 and 15 and 27.5-year schedule. So that's always been, right? And that will continue. But the bonus depreciation, this is really key for any newbie investors out there, or even experienced ones that haven't done larger projects, is after 2023, it's going to go down from bonus depreciation for 100% in the first year of acquisition to 80%, 60, and then 40. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that? Because I think that's, for me, it really motivates me to find as many deals as I can that fit our box in 2021 and 22, while we can still get 100% bonus depreciation in the year of acquisition.
That's right, yeah. So the 100% bonus was when it was put in the tax code, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, it was set in the books to start phasing out in 2023. So it's gonna go down to 80%, which means you find all the value and all this depreciated stuff, you can take 100% of that value this year. In 2023, you're only gonna take 80% of that in the first year. The remaining 20%, you can still put on those faster depreciation schedules of 5 and 15, and then it's gonna continue phasing out until it goes down to 0. Unless there's any sort of, and we're all holding our breath, right? But unless there's some sort of update to that law, this is currently how it's working.
And
out.
is it 20% gets dropped every year? So 2024 would be 60%, 25 is 40%, and so on and so forth?
Correct.
So 2022 is the last year that you can get 100% bonus depreciation on the acquisition. Is that correct?
That's right.
Wow, fascinating.
So what happens, I buy a property in 2022 and cost seg it, depreciation, I can't use it all, so it rolls over to 2023. Do I still get the full 100% or does it start stepping down?
That's an excellent question. So whatever you take as a tax deduction stays with you, right? It's only about in the current year how much you can deduct of a new purchase. Okay, so the bonus depreciation is only going to apply on new acquisitions on that cost, but your depreciation, if you have extra passive losses, that's going to carry forward the entire amount.
That's wonderful.
That's amazing. I love it. Cool. Let's keep walking and let's go check out the maintenance and leasing office. All right, here we are in the leasing office. So this was originally built as a 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit. After we build the clubhouse, Yonah, our plan is to bring this back online as a unit. So it'll be the full 276. Currently, they're just using 274. So we're in the leasing office. Talk about the depreciation schedule of what you see here.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing, as we mentioned, in the unit itself, you didn't have any furniture. But in the leasing office, you have a lot of furniture and appliances and equipment, right? The computers, all the desks, all the chairs, tables, all this stuff, plants, even anything in here besides for the things we spoke about in the regular unit, like carpeting and window treatments, light fixtures. You have a lot of extra stuff here, and all of this furniture is going to depreciate on a 5-year schedule also.
So everything in here that's like an amenity or a fixture can be on a 5-year schedule.
That's right.
So the desk, the papers, all the things there for the kids, the plants, the paintings, everything there is 5-year schedule.
You got it. And you go into the office, you'll see, the desks, the computers, right? Wiring, security system if you have it. All that stuff is going to depreciate faster.
And then how about maintenance materials like tools and things like that we have in the maintenance office?
Yeah, we're going to get to that. That's going to be equipment, classified as equipment in the maintenance office, and all that's going to depreciate also over 5 years.
So what happens, I think Terrance, if I heard you correctly, you bought this as is with the leasing office. Once you build the clubhouse, you're going to convert this back to a 2-bedroom. So he buys this, depreciates this, takes the bonus up front, then repurposes this. Does that impact the depreciation they took up front?
Yeah, excellent question. It certainly is. And this is one of the greatest things about cost segregation is that if you go back to episode 1, you remember we talked about the purchase price establishes your depreciable basis, the amount you can depreciate over that 27.5, 15, 5-year schedule. But the only time that changes is if you add more money, if you do renovations, you add more money into the property. So when you go to renovate your unit, once you've done cost segregation on the acquisition, you can tear out everything that you're taking out and write that off, literally. So you get to take that off the tax books, and that's a tax deduction you already took, but you're not going to be impacted by those.
So there's no recapture.
There's no recapture on that because you're going to be writing it off the books. And the new stuff you're putting in, that's going to be added to your basis, and you can do a cost seg, as we're going to do, on the renovations itself as well.
So are there any downsides? You mentioned recapture, so another question, any downsides? So he comes in here, does his cost seg, turns around 5 years, repositions the property, sells it, and going into presumably a 1031 exchange. Does loading all the depreciation up front have any consequences on the 1031 and downstream properties?
Sure. So as you mentioned, right, when you sell a property, you have something called depreciation recapture tax. The tax you're subject to, similar to capital gains tax. If you made money on the property, you pay capital gains. Because you took that depreciation, it's called an unrealized gain, which means you have to pay a tax on the amount of depreciation you took. So if you take a lot more upfront, you're going to be affected by paying that depreciation capture tax on the sale. However, the point you brought up is a 1031 exchange. If you sell through 1031 exchange, you not only defer your capital gains tax, you also defer that recapture tax. And other great things, many other strategies that, like we mentioned, if you are buying another property, even without a 1031 exchange, in the year that you sell something, you may have enough passive losses from the sale, from the depreciation, the cost seg on a new property to offset the passive gains from the
sale.
Really? Wow. All right, so as you wrap this up, what are the tips or nuggets do you want to share with me and Terrance and our listeners out here? Because this is great.
I think you want to make sure that you bring an engineer right in and identify and capture the maximum tax benefits that you can. I mean, there are so many people that are overlooking this simply because they don't ever understand it or they never heard of it. Every time I do a webinar, the first question I always ask all of the guests is, have you ever heard of cost segregation before, right? Do you know what it is? And the majority of people, either they never heard of it or they don't know what it is. And that's why they signed up. And so it's important to learn these things so you can take action. Don't rely on your accountant necessarily. I mean, a lot of accountants out there are great and are proactive, but not all of them are real estate focused and savvy. And so therefore, you need to take the action into your own hands sometimes.
I think you nailed it, Yonah. I mean, I've been doing real estate since 2008 when I bought my first property. And this is the first time I've been with a real expert walking a property and understanding in detail the difference between 5, 15, and 27.5-year property, how to break it down, how to look at it, and how to really plan on acquisition, construction, how to strategically set ourselves up to maximize the tax gains. I mean, the tax world is a completely different world, and bringing in an expert from day one, I think is a massive advantage. So I highly recommend everyone to go out there and do that.
All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, you subscribe, and leave a comment. And like Yonah said in episode 1, ask some questions. We check it out. He'll be there too. But Yonah, how can people learn about you, your company, and the magical world of cost segregation?
Absolutely. You can go to YonahWeiss.com. You can also follow our company, MadisonSpecs.com. There are a lot of great resources there, including case studies, frequently asked questions, etc. Make sure to follow me on all the social media, especially LinkedIn.
All right, well, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. I know that I definitely did.
You're listening to the Multifamily Mentor Show.
Join the conversation.